Kakadosh Bokator, we're going to continue with Daf Kavbet Amud Aleph 22a1. So yesterday we finished off we were explaining the different psukim and shira shirim, and we said, what does it mean kefutzotav taltalim? So he said that you have to be doresh, you have to expound upon every single kotz vekotz, upon every single little stick that comes out from the different letters. So therefore we have to learn from every single one of them, tilet tilim shel alachot, tons of alachot. Shechorot kaorev, what does it mean, shechorot, black like a raven? Who are you going to find the yediat alachot, the knowledge of all these alachot? B'mi, and this is where we're starting today. Somebody that comes, wakes up very early and goes to sleep late, right? That means he stays in the Bet of Midrash late. For that person, you're going to find somebody, that's what it means. Shechorot means shachrit. Ke'orev, orev means arvit, which means that he's mashkim l'shachrit, and he's going to be yotzeh, right, uma'ariv. He's going to come out late from the Bet HaKnesset as well. Okay? So now says the Gemara, Rabba Amar, Rabba says, who's somebody that's going to have Torah and all these gufei halachot? Who's going to be in somebody that he's going to be mitzaer? He's going to make his face look black, right? Because he's always looking. He wants to learn the Torah so much that he's just learning it until it becomes all black. So that's what it means. You're going to find shechorot kaorev, tons of halachot, like a person that does this. Rava, right? Rava says, another explanation. Somebody, if you want to learn Torah, you have to become like an achzari. You have to be cruel. Cruel to who? To even your own children. Like an orev. What does it mean, like an orev? It says over here, amongst all the birds, the orev, what do we say? What does that mean, the orev does not give food to its children. He leaves it. That leaves it starving. He doesn't give food to his children until HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and he's the one that gives it to the children of the orev. So therefore he comes and he says, this is the concept that we're saying over here, that a person must become a little bit cruel to his children in order to grow in Torah. Because if he's all the time going to be with his children, he'll never be able to learn Torah properly. Okay?
Not today's education.
Okay. Ki had Rav Ada bar Matna avakazil ber Rav. Just like Rav Ada bar Matna was going to the house of Ber Rav, to the Bet of Midrash, Amrele Devitu, his wife told him, Yenuke didach, what am I going to do for your children? What am I going to do to them? What am I going to give them to eat? Amala, he told her, Mishlimu kurme be'agma. What? There's no more yirakot, there's no more vegetables in the ponds, right? Which means get food from Efker. Get food from whatever it is. But he wasn't going to you're going to start working, and he wanted to learn Torah. Okay? Next. What does it mean? He's going to pay back to his enemies to destroy the people that have right. It says, Amar Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, says Yoshua ben Levi, Ilmale mikra katuv, if it wasn't a pasuk that says it, you couldn't say it. It's like a person that's coming and he's carrying a burden, right? And then what it is that he wants to throw it off from him, which means HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give a tashlum schar. He's going to give the reward for the Rishaim. But what does that mean? The reward that he's giving for the Rishaim is a torach for him, because he wants to get rid of it. So he's just going to give it to them, just get rid of it. Like, get out of here. Here, I'm paying you, but just move away. Go away. Lo ya'achel lesaneo. What does that mean? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu will not give it to him quickly. Amar Bila, says Bila, lesoneavu lo ya'achel. He says to his enemy, he doesn't wait. He gives it to them right away. But to the tzadikim gemurim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu waits. Why? Because he prefers to give it to them the olam haba. Meaning the Rishaim in this world, he gives it to them right away. Pay them back right away. Just give them everything. But that's why sometimes you have a lot of times that the Rishaim, they have a lot of success. And you come and you say, what is this? Rasha v'tovlo? What's going on? Why does this Rasha have so much atzlacha? And the answer is, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives them the reward in this world. He's not going to wait until the next world. That tzadikim gemurim, he waits until Olam Haba. That's where he's going to give them the reward. Okay, v'hainu damar Rishon Levi. That's what Rishon Levi says. Mai dichti. What does it mean in the pasuk? Asher nochim b'tzemach hayom la'asotam, velo lemachal la'asotam. Are you going to tell me that it's only going to be today to do the mitzvot and not tomorrow? Which means, what does that mean? Hayom la'asotam lemachal lekabel. He says no. It means that you have to do it today. Tomorrow you get the reward for it. Meaning now in this world, we're doing the mitzvot. Continue doing again and again. We're doing all the mitzvot. But later on, that's when we're going to get the reward. Okay? Binyamin, we're right before the 2 dots. Okay? So it says, Amar Rabbi Chagai, Ve'i Temar B'Shmuel Ben Nachmani. Says Rabbi Chagai, and some people say it's Shmuel Ben Nachmani. What does it mean in the pasuk? Erech hapayim. Right? What does it mean, Erech hapayim? Erech af mibaile. It should have said Erech af. What is Erech hapayim? Right? Af is Lashon Yachid. The person has one nose, not 2 noses. Ela, but rather Erech hapayim la tzadikim, Erech hapayim la reshaim. Erech hapayim for both, the tzadikim and the reshaim. Erech hapayim for the tzadikim because he shows them the reward in Olam Haba. Erech hapayim for the reshaim because he's going to actually wait to give them their punishment for the Olam Haba. So if by the tzadikim the Erech hapayim is that he's not paying them in this world. So that he needs Erech hapayim. He needs a lot of patience in order not to pay them all the good in this world. But by the other way around, it's the exact opposite. Okay, by the reshaim, that he's not going to give them their punishment until the next world. And now we're by the 2 dots. Okay? So Kavbet Amud Aleph, 2 dots. Rabbi Yehuda says, at Bet Satayim. So you're allowed to come and you're allowed to distance it until you have Bet Satayim, but not more than that. Meaning that, remember, the Paseh Biraot were the diomids, the 4 different corners and the well in the middle. So you're only allowed to continue making it bigger until Bet Satayim. If it's going to be more than Bet Satayim, you're not allowed to. So it says over here like this. Ibai lehu, so they're going to ask the question, Bor upasin ka'amar, or dilma bor velo pasin ka'amar. When Rabbi Yehuda came and he said that you're allowed to make, right, it until a bet time, was he talking about the halal bor, right, imashet ashimenu until the pasim, which means all the inside until the bet, the pasim cannot be more than a bet time, or dilma bor velo pasin ka'amar. Maybe he's talking about the bor, but not to do with the pasim. Really, be'emet, it could be, right, the bor itself could be a bet time. And then you could have another 2 amot or whatever it is for the pasim. So that's the question. The question is, one more time, when we say bet satayim was talking about the entire picture, the entire square. Remember, you had the 4 corners and the well in the middle. The entire thing could be maximum bet satayim, or no. The middle, which is the well, could be bet satayim. And then you have another 2 amot for the 4 corners on the outside. That's the Gemara's question. Okay? So the Gemara comes and says, Adam noten enav bevoro, right? Lo gazinian dimatil yoter mi bet satayim bekarpav. Is it that a person is going to come and he's going to put his eyes in the pit and he's not paying attention to anything which is around it? So it comes out that as long as the pit itself is bet satayim, a person does not look at the outside, right, like the bet satayim, and therefore even the extra 2 amot, which is marchik, right, is lo gazinian. We're not going to make a decree to prohibit it, because maybe he's going to start learning that he could start carrying in other places. Or Dilmar, maybe the person does not pay attention to the pit. The person is going to pay attention to the mechitzot, to the eruv, like the walls, which are the 4 walls on outside. And therefore, there we are going to make a decree that maybe a person is going to make a mistake, and then he's going to carry, even if it's going to be more than bet satayim bakarfaf in a regular scenario. Not in this case only, but in a regular scenario, and then he has a problem. So the Gemara tries to answer up and says like this. Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof from a Tosefta. There's a brighter Tosefta. Kama hen mekuravim. How close were these pasim to the bor? Remember, I'll just show you again so that way you guys understand what we're talking about. Yeah, this, let me go to the picture up above. Yeah. Okay, this is a regular picture. Forget about the animal. Okay, here you have the paseh biraot. These are the pasim, the 4 corners, or the diomids, if you remember. Because it was called 2 amudims. Okay, here's the well. So do we say that this well is maximum bet satayim, and then I don't care about this? This could be even two amot outside, and there's no problem. Or the entire bet satayim is this entire square here. Everyone sees the picture, correct? And they see the cursor? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So now what happens is like this. The Gemara is going to ask, Kama hen mekoravin, right? How much does it have to be close inside? It says, Kedei roshav ruba shel para. So we said like this is the exact picture. You have the rosh and the ruba of the para inside. Okay, that's what you need. Okay, that means this could be close enough, but you still need the rosh and the row of the animal is on the inside. How much is it? Afilu kur vafilu kuraim. Even if it's going to be a kur or a bet kuraim, 2 kur. Right? Every single kur is 30 seah. If Yudah says it's going to be bet satayim mutar, more than a bet satayim is going to be a sur. So Amru le Rabbi Yudah, they told Rabbi Yudah, aren't you going to agree that in a case whether we're talking about like a barn of animals, or for example the backyard, or the chatzer, which is the front yard, even if it's going to be 5 kurim or 10 kurim, that it's still going to be mutar to be metaltel? So why is it that we come here and we're only going to be matir until a bet satayim? So Malahem, he said, zo mechitza velu pasim. When we came and we tell you you're allowed to carry, whether in such a big amounts, all these big amounts, right, are for what? Are for mechitzot. If you have a mechitza means a wall, a full wall. Meaning the backyard has a wall. The front yard of the whatever, it's got a wall. In all these, the barn has a wall. In if it has a wall, then you're right. You could do whatever you want. You could have a 10 mamash, like all these things. However, though, comes and he says the following. However, though, if it's only going to be pasin, and these are pasin, so in such a scenario where it's only going to be pasin, then no, then it's until a bet satayim. Okay, so now it makes sense. If you've got a full wall, you could carry in whatever you want. If you've got these pasin, no. Now you only have bet satayim. Okay, Rabbi Shimon Elazar says, bor bet satayim al bet satayim. Right? He says the pit is going to be a bet satayim mutar. Which means that Chachamim, they permitted you to actually come and put around the bor, which is around the bet satayim. So it comes out that from the sfata bor, there's only going to be 2 amot. So from here, the edge of the bor, you're only going to have 2 amot until the how do you call those things? The pasim. Okay, I'm going back to the pictures for today. Okay. No. Okay, this is the one, but there's already kabet and bet. Okay. Fine. Next. So says the Gemara, the fact that he said it's from the pit and not the pasin, so it comes out that this is actually going to be kama machloket, which means, what are you allowed to do? The fact that Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar said from the bor, right, that the bor is going to be bet satayim and bet satayim, so it's mashma that you could still have more on the outside of the bet. That means bet satayim is only the pit. Everything else is on the outside. It's going to be okay. And I could infer from that according to Rabbi Yehuda, no, everything had to be the bet satayim. So says the Gemara, velohi, but it's not true. Rabbi Yehuda, bor velo pasin kaman. Rabbi Yehuda was talking about already bor velo pasin, right? Which means that even according to him, right, you're allowed to do it with the bet satayim plus the 2 amot on the outside. So the bet satayim is actual pit, and then you have an additional 2 amot on the outsides, which are for the pasim all around. Okay? So ask the Gemara, if so then it's the same shita as Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. If you're going to tell me that Rabbi Yehuda says it's the bor is bet satayim plus you have another 2 amot, that was Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says, right, bor bet satayim and bet satayim mutar velo amru v'chule v'chule. So it's the same shita, and it was in the same Braita, the same Tosefta. So it says the Gemara, Ika Benayu, the difference between them, arich v'katim. The machloka between them is abor aroch v'tzar. Very, very long, but very narrow. Let's see here if I have a picture. So how do you have it there?
Because this is a different book.
It's a different book now.
Yeah.
So send it to us.
Oh, send it.
We just got a different book. So now there's a picture for this one. 1 second. You're going to send it how by WhatsApp?
Yeah.
So here it is, Kal Kadosh. If you see it, Bezat Hashem in the afternoon, we're going to be sending out this picture book. So this one right here, it's this picture, the top picture over here. Oh, I don't know, my finger is not there. Here, I'm going to put my cursor. There you go. Okay, so this, the top one, it's a bor arich vekatim. Okay, very long, but very narrow. So in such a case where it's going to be very long and very narrow, right, which means it's not a rectangle, it's like, it's not, squared, it's like more like a rectangle type of thing. So therefore it says, according to Rabbi Yehuda, when he said it bet satayim, you're allowed to be, right, mutala keep passing also on a border like that. But Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, when he said it has to be bet satayim and bet satayim, in such a case it doesn't help. because it has to be mirubah, it has to be a square, and it cannot be a rectangle. Okay? Klal amar Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, says Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, kol la'avir shetashmisho ledira, right? Anything which, right, without, that is open to the air, right, that is supposed to be like a dirat adam, which means that you go in and out all the time. For example, dir v'sar muktzeh v'chatzer, the backyard, the front yard, the barn, places for the animals. Afilu bet chamesh kurim v'bet aseret kurim mutar. You're allowed to do whatever you want. Bechol dira shetashmisha la'avir, right? But anything which is going to be lashmisha la'avir, right, which is, for example, burganin or besadot and things like that, bet satayim mutar, yotem bet satayim asur. Which basically what he's trying to say is it all depends. What's the ishtamshut? What's the usage of the property? If the usage of the property, for example, is sukkot shomrim or things like that, which means that the tachlit shimush is for the outside and not for the inside, then what you have to do is it's only in bet satayim. More than bet satayim is going to be a sur. But if the entire ishtamshut is for the inside, even if it doesn't have a roof, it's still permitted whatever you want, whatever size. So a backyard, the mikad ishtamshut is inside the backyard, not outside. So therefore you could have whatever you want. Right, the front yard, the same thing, right, and all these things. However, once you get to, for example, burgani, a burgani was a shomer ayid, but he's not protecting on the inside. He's supposed to be protecting on the outside. It's just on the inside, just that way he could have a little space to sit down or whatever, or get some drinks, things like that. But the yikar of the ishtamshut is for the outside. Then it's only until betzatayim. More than betzatayim is going to be a sur. Capish until here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Says a Mishnah. Bet Amud Aleph Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda says, "Im haya derech reshut rabim umefasaktan, right? Yisalkenu litzadim. Chachamim omrim eno tzadik." So if you remember, we said, right? I'll show you the picture again. If you remember, we had here that this was a machloket. Sorry. Here it is, look. We said, what happens right now if this is a picture, right? Forget about this part because this was another concept. But right now, this is a pasebiraot. So we said, remember that the road, this is Reshut Rabim. The grass is Reshut Yachid, and the paved area was a Mavui. Here we don't have the paved area here. Okay, so here, this is the Reshut Rabim. If the public start walking right through here, so this is a machloket. According to the Rabbi Yehuda, you have to push the public over here to this area, which is outside of the pasim, outside of these pasim. You have to push them on this area, okay? But according to Chachamim, they say you don't have to. Why? Because it's going to be kosher even though people walk straight through here, okay? Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Elazar, the Amri Tavayu, says Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Elazar, they both say, Kan odiacha kochan shel mechitzot. Here the rabbis are teaching us the strength of the mechitzot. Kan, what does it mean, kan? What does that mean? Usvirale, kan usvirale, ve'amar Rabbi Baruchana Rabbi Yochanan, right? He says, Yerushalayim, ilmale daltotea neulo balayla. If it wasn't the fact that Yerushalayim, Jerusalem, had its walls closed in the night times, chayvin la meshut rabim, would have been an entire Reshut Rabim. So you see from here, right, that Yerushalayim was mukefet chomai, where they had a wall all around it, and the Rehov Rashi was going from one city to another, meaning like one gate to another gate. And still, that's what he's saying here. So if it wasn't for the fact that the gates were closed at nighttime, it would have been Reshut Rabim. So you see from here that the fact that people are walking through it, it annuls the walls. So the same thing by us, which means if right now you have these walls, but people are walking straight through the city, straight through, it's as if that they annulled the walls. So the same thing by us. And that's the proof from Yerushalayim. Ella, but rather, he says, Kan velos filele. Here it says it's teaching us the strength of the walls, that even though people are walking right through it, it does not annul them, even though he himself does not hold of that. Okay, but rather he holds like Rabbi Yehuda, that the fact that people that go through it, it actually does come and does ruin the walls, and now there's not considered that really there's mechitzot anymore. Berami de Rabbi Yehuda, so we're going to ask a contradiction from Rabbi Yehuda to Rabbi Yehuda. Berami de Rabbanan, and we're going to ask a contradiction from Rabbanan to another Rabbanan. The Tanya is going to Rabbaita, yeter al ken, Amar Rabbi Yehuda, more than that says Rabbi Yehuda, mi shayu lo shne batim. If somebody's going to come and he's going to have two houses, mishne tzidei Reshut Rabim, from two sides of the Reshut Rabim. Oselo lechi mikan velechi mikan. So if you remember, it makes one lechi here, one lechi here. He's got two houses on the sides of the Reshut Rabim. He does lechi mikan velechi mikan, or kora mikan. Okay, he's allowed to carry in the middle. Amlulo, they told him, 1 second, you can't make an eruv for the Shuta beam like that. So Kasha de Rabbi Yehuda, Kasha de Rabbanan. It's a contradiction between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbanan. Why? According to this Praita, it comes out that according to Rabbi Yehuda, the fact that people are going by, it's not mevatel mechitza, and therefore you're allowed to do so. Okay, there's no problem. And the Chachamim are the ones that they're saying that it doesn't help. So that's the exact opposite of what we just said before. How could that be? The Chachamim are saying that you can't make an eruv like that, and Rabbi Yehuda is saying yes, and by us it's the exact opposite. Rabbi Yehuda says that it's not a good eruv, and the rabbis are saying that it is. So what's going on? So says the Gemara, the Rabbi Yehuda la kashia, sana astira, Rabbi Yehuda. Why? Hatam, over there, deika shte mechitzot me'aliyata, you've got two mechitzot, which are good, which are completely good mechitzot. The two houses, that's one mechitza. Those are two walls. So that's good. He says, Hacha, in our case, lekashte mechitzot me'aliyata. You don't have two mechitzot me'aliyata. You have four pasim. Remember, you've got 1, 2, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. But they're pasim. It's not a wall. So the fact in the case of the two houses, one house is over here, one house is in front. Each one is a good wall. Those are two mechitzot. And then you just make the lechi from here, lechi from here, or the korah from here, korah from here. But fine, at least you have two mechitzot, which are proper. By us, you don't have anything. And that's why you're not going to answer it up. The Rabbanan and the Rabbanan, nami lo kasha. It's also not a question from the Rabbanan and the Rabbanan. Ha-cha'ika shem arba mechitzot. There, here you have the four mechitzot. Hatam leka shem arba mechitzot. There you don't have the four mechitzot, which means he's saying at the end of the day, at every single ruach, you've got at least two amot, which are closed by a wall. So ever according to the rabbis, you have four mechitzot. Over there, in the case of the Braita, you only have two mechitzot, and the other two is just a lechi or a korah. That's not a mechitza. So therefore, because of that, that means there's a pros and cons of each one. According to Shitat Rabbi Yehuda, he was looking at it, you have two walls. So if you have two walls by the houses, that's much better than the four pasim, right? But according to the rabbis, he said, no, the four pasim is better. Because the four pasim, you've got like four walls. Because each pas has enough like a wall. So therefore, you've got four walls. The other case of the house, you only have two walls. A lechi and a korah is not a wall. So each one is looking at it on the other side of the coin. So Amar Rav Yitzchak bar Yosef, says Yitzchak bar Yosef, Rabbi Yochanan, Eretz Yisrael chayvim alem mishum reshut rabim. Eretz Yisrael, if you're going to carry inside of Eretz Yisrael, you're not going to be chayav mishum reshut rabim. So Yativ Rav Dimi v'kama le'ashmata. So Rav Dimi was sitting and he said this. Amar le'abai le'Rav Dimi, says about Rav Dimi, my time, what's the reason? Why is it that Eretz Yisrael is different, that it's not like any other land that there's no reshut rabim? What does that mean? So he says, Kavbet Amubet, 22b, Ileima mishum de makifla. If you're going to tell me that it's going to be mukaf, sulma de tzur me'achkisa, by a sulam from mountains on one side, umachtana de gader me'achkisa, and the emek, the valleys on the other side, right? Bavel nami makifla. Bavel is also going to be a so prat me'achkisa. Bavel is the same thing. Bavel also you have Nehar Prat, the river on one side, and you have the Diglat, which is another river on the other side. So the you have also the Atlantic Ocean, which is surrounding the entire world. So what does that mean? Why is it that Eretz Yisrael there's no Reshut Rabim? Why? So says the Gemara, Dilma ma'alot u'moradot kama. Maybe be'emet, right? What's happening is really be'emet. What's happening is that you have ma'alot u'moradot. Okay. Exactly, the going up and down, right? Ma'alev and murid, right? So you're going up and going down, right? So he says, but what does that mean? Amalei, he comes and he says, Karkafna chazite l'reichshach baramude, right? Ke'amra Rabbi Yochanan achshmata. He says, I saw his head was between the amudim and the Bet HaMidrash when he said this, which means that he didn't say it, right? Like this is bad. He just said mipi hashmua, which means he just said it like a tradition. So Itmar Nami was also stated, Kiat Ravi and Rabbi Yochanan, V'amrin lam Rabbi Yevu Rabbi Yochanan. Ma'alot u'moradot b'shaberet tzil chayvim mishum reshut rabim. If she'ena kedigle midbar, because it's not like the desert, which means that because the desert was a plain, was all simple, all on the same level. So it says, v'za'anenei kavod, it flattened everything. So since the clouds of glory flattened everything, it had to be all flat. So he says, but the fact that you have all these, the different, ma'alot, moradot, you're going up and down, Israel is all ups and downs. It's all like that. All of Israel like this. You're always going up and you're always going down. You're always going down, you're always going up. It's always like that. So he says, because of that, he says, since it's not like the Glemidbar, that's why it's not going to be Reshut Rabim. So Ba'mine Rachava Merava. So Rachava comes and he asks from Rava, tell, when you have a mount, right, a small little tiny mountain, Hamitlaket, that is going to be able to be taken, Asara mitoch arba, 10 tvachim within four amot, Rabim bokimbo, and a lot of people are passing by it. Chayvin la mishum reshut habim or not? Are you going to be chayav because of reshut habim or not? So according to the rabbis, for sure it's not a question. Hashta over now, umahatam, just like over there, the nichatashmishe, that it's good the way that what you're doing, what your usage, right? Amni Rabbanan, the rabbi said, that the rabbis are not going to come and be mevatel mechitza. Hacha, but over here, that it's not good. That means the walking, the right, what you're doing. Lo koshken, shouldn't be a koshken, a mechitza. Which means like this, if you're going to tell me that it's easy to use, right? For example, if it's leveled, and still you're going to say that the Rabbim does not mevatel the mechitza, the fact that people walk through it is not mevatel the walls. So if it's not good to use, because it's a tail, it's like a mount. You have to go up and you have to go on top of this mountain, right? So he says, isn't it kol shekin that the Rabbim are not going to be mevatel? So kiti bailecha. So when is the question? According to Rabbi Yehuda, mai. Hatam over there, over there, it's good to use it. Maybe there's no difference. Samalei, he says chayavim. He says what? Even if they're going to go up with a rope, you're still going to tell me they're going to be chayav? That means it's so steep and everything, you're going to have to go up with a rope up this mount. You would still going to tell me that you're going to be chayav? Thank you. Oops. If everyone could see the mountain, the people are going up with the rope. You see? They're going up.
You see the rope?
That's the rope. You see?
Yes.
I apologize. Once we get it on the screen, I could do share screen. It'll be much clearer. Okay? So he says, Amalei, vafilu b'ma'alot, Amalei in. He said yes. He says, vafilu b'ma'alot b'maron. Even in a place where it's so steep that mamasha, you're going up like these big, you're mountain climbing already. Amale'in, he said yes. Okay? Fine. Says the Gemara. Says the Gemara 8 ways. So they ask the following question. Chatzer sharabim nechlatsin la bezu v'yotzim bezu. What happens if you have a chatzer that they go in through one entrance and they go out through another entrance? Okay, there's like an entrance and then there's an exit. Okay, Kirshut Rabim. So it says the Gemara, it's like a Reshut Rabim for Tumah, but it's like a Reshut Yachid for Shabbat. So to do a Tum'ah, remember, Tumah and Reshut Rabim, Safekot Tahor. Tumah and Reshut Yachid, Safekot Tameh. So there's a big difference that you have to know where if it's considered Reshut Rabim or Reshut Yachid, a public or a private domain, whether the doubt of Tumah is going to be Tameh or not. So says the Gemara, the Reshut Yachid, yeah, so he says over here, the Reshut Yachid, right? So he says, in a case of the Reshut Yachid, right? Reshut Yachid to do with Hilchot Shabbat, which means to do with the halachot of Shabbat, it's going to be considered a Reshut Yachid. So, Mani, who is this exactly? Ilei Rabbanan, if you're going to tell me it's the rabbis, that it's according to Shitat Chachamim, so says the Gemara, right? He says like this, he says, Hashta, now, umahatam, just like over there, the nichat hashmishe was easy to use it, right? And still, Amri Rabbanan, the rabbi said, Lo atu rabim vatel mechitzah, that the rabbim are going to come in and they're not going to be vatel mechitzah. Hacha de lo nichat hashmishe, now that it's not going to be nichat hashmishe, lo kol sheken, shouldn't be kol sheken. That if you're not able to use it properly, shouldn't be kol sheken. Elalav Rabbi Yehuda, it has to be Rabbi Yehuda. Okay? So says the Gemara, lo, what are we talking about? He says, as follows. I did it went in through twice, right? Went in. So he says, Lo le'olam, really be'emet, it's shitat rabbanan. It's the shita of the rabbis. It's the shut rabim l'tum'ah itzichale. And we're talking about the shut rabim for tum'ah. That's what we're trying to do. Okay? Fine. Says the Gemara. Tashema. Okay, while it's downloading, I'm downloading that PDF. Okay, but while it's downloading, we're going to use the other one for now. I'm just going to share the screen because this one we do have. 1 second. Okay, here it is. ¿Qué página es, John?
I didn't open it here. But I'm sending, I don't know, for some reason it said it didn't send it.
So here we have it. 1 second. Page 90 is Yud Bet. Page 120 is Yud Zayin, 150 is Kav Dalet. So it's a little bit before. Okay. This is Kav Bet Amud Aleph. This was, by the way, this is the two houses on the two sides of the Reshut Rabim, and you put the Korah Mikan, the Korah Mikan. This is Yerushalayim, that we said if it wasn't for the fact that you had the gates on the two sides that are closed all night, so then it would have been a problem. Okay? This is the next one. Okay, Mifuleshet. Next. This is the tel, right? The little slope. Okay, going up. Everyone could see it, yeah? Oh, I'm not sharing the screen. I apologize. I apologize. I wasn't sharing the screen. Sorry. Now you could see it. Sorry. This is the rope that we were talking about. So here it is. Chatzer shenichnesu ba. It says over here a chatzer that they go in one entrance and they go out another entrance. So whichever one, here's one entrance and here's another one, but the one's an entrance and one's an exit. Okay, so in such a case, what do we say? We say that it's considered a Reshut Rabim for Tumah, Reshut Yachid for Shabbat. The next case was this one, right? It's right now. This is what we're going to do right now. Tashema, we're going to bring a proof. So I'm on picture 379, which is page 138. So it says over here, right? Yeah, Reshut Yachid, right? L'Shabbat, Reshut Rabim, L'Tumah. You have a combination here, right? So here you have the Mevo, this is the Mavui, okay? And it's going to be Mefulash, Beborot, Shochin, Me'arot. So you've got, there's a pit, right? You've got a whole bunch of different things here. So it says it's a Reshut Yachid for Shabbat and Reshut Rabim for Tumah. Says the Gemara, Beborot Sal Kadaitach, are you really going to tell me it's a Borot? Ela Leborot, right? But really, Be'emet, when we're talking about that, it does have one of these three things, the Bor, Siach, Me'ara, it's a Reshut Yachid for Shabbat and Reshut Rabim for Tumah. So who's this? Ilema Rabbanan, if you're going to tell me it's the rabbis, Hashta now, Umahat Nichat Shmishef, it's easy to use it. Amri, they still said, Lo Atu Rabim Batlele, the people coming by is not going to be Batel. But here it's not normal to use it. Lo Kol Sheken, shouldn't it be that they're going to annul it? Elalav Rabbi Yehuda, Yehasa Mishitat Rabbi Yehuda. Okay? So it says the Gemara, no. Le'olam Rabbanan, really be'emet et shitat, the rabbis. Right? Reshut Rabim le'tumah itzichale. The Reshut Rabim for tumah, that's what you need it for. So Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof. Shvile bet Gilgul, when we're talking about the Shvile bet Gilgul, what does that mean? It's a place in Eretz Israel. Let's see, here you have a picture. No. Let's see the other one. Okay. So this is the same thing, the other picture from the other book. Okay. So we don't have another picture yet. Okay, let's go. So basically it says over here like this. Tashema, Shvile Bet Gilgul. It's a place in Eretz Yisrael where they had aliyot lo meod, which is again very steep, going up and downs. So it says, "V'chayotze ben reshut yachid l'Shabbat u'reshut rabim tumah." It's going to be reshut yachid for Shabbat and reshut rabim for tumah. Ve'ezehu shvile bet gilgul. What is the shvile bet gilgul? What is it in order to be considered a reshut yachid, a private domain? Amri dever Rabbi Yanai. They said in the name of the bet of Rabbi Yanai, "Kol she'en ha'eved yachol litol se'ah shel chitim yarutz lifnei sardiot." If an eved cannot come and he cannot start running with a se'ah of chitin, right, in front of the sadiot, in front of his master, so then that's what the, like a bal sarah. So therefore, it means if he can't start running, because obviously there's, the aliyot and yudot, ups and downs and all those things, it's too steep. So that's called the shvile bet gilgul. So who is this? Mani. Ilei marabanan. If you're going to tell me it's the rabbis, hashta umatam, just like over there, by the case of the ben apasim, that it was easy to use it. Remember, we're talking about you had the pasim, and in between them, it was very easy to use the entire area. It was all flat. Still, the rabbis say, Lo atu rabim vatle mechitza, that the rabbim that pass through it are not going to be vatle mechitza. Hacha de lo neichat hashmishe, here where it's not easy to use, because it's all ups and downs, lo kol sheken. So it has to be according to Rabbi Yehuda. Says the Gemara, Amalei, he says, no, shvile begilgul t'kamarta, Yoshua ohev Yisrael haya. Yoshua bin Nun loved Bnei Israel. So what did he do? Right? So he went and he instituted for them in all the cities like big roads, which is very easy to use. So he gave it over to the Rabbim. But if it wasn't easy to use, he gave it to the Yachid, which means that this is actually common practice even nowadays amongst the Goyim, that when they come and they see that if it's going to be a very, common area which is needed by the people, by the public, or the population, it becomes government property. And that sometimes happens. For example, let's say they have a highway, and all of a sudden they have to expand the highway, and there's certain houses on the side of the highway. So the government has the rights to come. They'll pay you the value of the house, or sometimes a little bit more. I don't remember how it goes exactly. But what they do is they pay you, and then they get rid of you. And they come and they annex that entire area towards the public. I forgot what it's called. There's a terminology. What's it called when they do that, when the government does that? I forgot what it's called. They come and they take your property in order for the usage of the public. And they...
Expropriation.
No, expropriation, it's not for the public.
Yeah.
Expropriation is for service, is for personal.
It's for personal, but it's not personal. This is talking about for the public. So if you live right beside, let's say, like a highway, and now they want to expand the highway, they pay you for the house, but you're forced to sell. You don't have a choice. It's not like, you want, you don't want. They force you to sell it to them. Boom, they get rid of you, and then they come and they expand. I don't know how you say that. I forgot the word in English. There's a word.
Eminent domain.
Thank you very much. There you go.
How do you call it?
Eminent domain. Very good. Thank you, Binyamin.
That's a legal name.
That's a legal term. Yeah, that's what it was. I remember that it was very good. Okay. Mishnah, Kavbet Amubet. Says a Mishnah. Okay. Says a Mishnah, Echad bor harabim, ube'er harabim, ube'er hayachid, osin lahem pasim. So it doesn't matter whether we're talking about a bor of a rabim, of a public, or a be'er of rabim. So bor, remember, was just a pit that had rainwater. A be'er was a live well. Okay, ube'er hayachid, or a be'er of an individual. Osin lahem pasim, you're allowed to do pasim in order to draw water on Shabbat. Ava lebor hayachid, but a pit of a yachid of an individual, right? You need to do a mechitza gvoa 10 tfachim. These are the words of Rabbi Akiva. So it doesn't help just doing these pasim. You need a mechitza. Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba says, "En osim pasim leber harabim levad." You're only allowed to do pasim for a ber harabim levad. Only a be'er harabim, not a bor harabim. Okay? So that's why, but first of all, it's a be'er and it's a rabim. So you got two things, tarti letivuta, two things for the positive. It's a be'er, which is live water, meaning not rainwater that just comes down in a pit. It's a be'er, it's a well, right? Plus, it has to be a rabim. Beleshad and everything else, whether it's a be'er yachid or a bor of rabim or whatever it is, right? Osin chagura. You're allowed to make a chagura. What is that? You make like ropes. We have a picture of this?
Yes, there is.
Gavoa asrat tfachim, 10 tfachim. Let's see. 10 tfachim tall. And that's it. That's how we finished the daf today. But let me just see if there's a picture to see this ropes. No, there's Kav Gimel Amubet. There's Kav Bet. So in this one, we don't have it. Let's see the other one.
The last one of, no?
No. Eiruvin Kav Bet Amubet. Kav Gimel Amud Aleph. Also, we don't have a picture. Okay, you're doing basically ropes going around, and that's what you're going around. I don't know why nobody has a picture here. Let's see here also. No. No picture. Okay, so you have to have ropes going around it. That's according to him, which are 10 tfachim tall. That's the only way to carry inside of it. Okay, and with this, we finish the Daf Yomi.
Hazak Baruch.